And then the funniest thing happened where Mark Irvin...
Can't believe what a plot twist. So after all of the articles and after all the drama around our iPhone Air video, the plot twist is that it's probably right. That hurts. It has been, in case you're curious, Bern, it has been 1,451 days since the last episode of this show. So almost 4 years ago exactly.
I had no idea. That's
nuts.
That
was like at the beginning of the Apple leak stuff and just at the top end of that. Anyway, Recycle Bin is back. And technically, if you're curious and you're playing along at home, since the first episode ever, 6 years ago, 23 episodes.
That's not a lot.
Is that a record? I bet there's no podcast that has lasted the longest with this limited number of episodes.
Yeah, we're setting a really bad precedent with that already.
You might think, wow, here we go again. Let's say
here we go again.
Some of you are brand new, you never heard this show, and we'll catch you up. But some of you have heard this show, and those people are like, yeah, fucking right.
Those who know.
Yeah, they're like, they're going to do this for 2 weeks and be done.
No, this is real. We signed contracts.
Boy, do we have news for you.
Yeah.
We have signed an ad contract with our agency, and we are committed to this show for at least 12 months.
Woo!
Yay, at least I don't have any,
I'm happy.
Soundboard stuff.
No soundboards allowed in the show, for the record.
Okay, I kind of like that rule.
Yeah, me too.
See how long that lasts.
Yeah, so you're getting at least 50-something episodes of this
in
this run.
And then after that year's over, we'll all meet back here. We'll reconvene.
We'll have a little powwow.
See if it's worth another year.
We'll call everybody up.
And not to mention, those old episodes are very bad.
Yeah, we have some notes here because we're re-recording this refresh episode because the last one we recorded, we were just so excited to talk about stuff. It was very meandering and kind of scatterbrained. So now we have notes. This one just says, old episodes cringe.
Yeah, very, very cringe, actually.
They are though.
I think we should make an executive professional decision to remove them.
Yeah. If you're listening to this episode and you go, oh, there's a bunch of episodes before.
22 other ones?
Then you know we decided to keep them. Otherwise, they're gone.
Personally, I want them gone because I feel like, and it's not even you, it's me. I feel like I'm very terribly, horribly, offensively cringe in those episodes. And it's just, I hate that version of me.
Fair enough.
The cool, more adult thing would be to leave them up so you can show that people can change.
Yeah.
But if you start listening to those episodes, you might hate me now. And I don't want you to hate me now for the Jern I was.
For the way he was, yeah.
I really thought I knew everything.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's changed.
That was pretty terrible.
More importantly, how old were we last time Recycle Bin was recorded? Oh my God. You were 27 and I was 26. Oh, good times.
All right, so we have a lot to talk about in the episode today, guys. We are going to cover all of the iPhone Air stuff. That's the drama surrounding our iPhone Air video from a week or so ago, and I guess the drama surrounding us.
Yeah,
that got so far away from us. I don't know what happened, but we'll talk about it. We'll address it. FPT has changed a lot since you last heard this show, and we haven't had an outlet to talk about any of those changes or what they mean to us. So I guess we're going to sit down. Brian and I will give you a brief history lesson, stuff that you've never heard before about our friendship, about the company, Front Page Tech. And I mean, obviously, we got to reintroduce you to Brian, writer of the show.
Again.
Again. And as for Recycle Bin and trying to get back into this show, currently we want to do or post new episodes on Mondays.
Yes.
It's not Monday now.
It's not. We're recording on a Tuesday.
Yeah, so good start. I fucking love it.
Yeah.
But that is the idea, to post new episodes every Monday because, why?
It's the worst day of the week. Monday's the nightmare. Most people, if you didn't know, kill themselves on Mondays. So
is that true?
Probably. That sounds right.
So we're heroes.
I'd rather not take up
We're
that
heroes.
mantle.
Okay, so yeah, new episodes on Mondays, and for now, there are currently no active plans to make a video version of this show.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen because we make videos.
Yeah.
But for the time being,
And they pay you more money. I don't know if you know, but you get paid more money if you do video
that's
too.
true. Yeah. That's a big thing.
But
So,
selfishly, if it was up to me, I want just audio only. I think not being able to see is so cool.
it's fun.
Audio to me is just more intimate. It feels like you're
It
just
is.
sitting and chilling with us, and also you see enough front page tech. You
That's
can
true.
see that with your eyes.
You've seen John a lot.
You've seen me too much.
He's been in a lot of videos for a long time. And you know what? This isn't even the format of the podcast.
It's really not. No.
This is kind of a we're dipping your toes in for you.
Yeah,
We're taking your
We're
foot.
picking your foot up and dipping your toes in the water.
We're dipping your toes back into our water because you got to get acclimated to the new us.
Yeah,
because we're different than the last time we recorded.
Yeah, Recycle Bin used to be. I mean, it's gone through a couple changes. It started as just typical tech news podcast.
We were recycling the news that didn't get to happen on Front Page Tech every week.
Hence the name.
Yeah,
and then it became a call-in show. Like people could call, leave voicemail messages for us, ask us questions, direct the show, and we would steer based on that. That is still what we're going to do. We think that's the best community aspect for this show.
Agreed.
You don't come on, guys. You don't need another podcast in your podcast feed that is talking about the tech news. If you want us to talk about tech news, or if you've got a specific question regarding a topical news event, you are of course free to ask, along with any other question you might have for us. The number is 404-919-5530. That is the phone number to call in, leave your voicemail, and hopefully be featured here on the show. 404-919-5530. Those calls are free here in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't live in the U.S., you can get around it. There are ways.
You're smart. I have faith in you that you'll figure it out. A lot of services.
VoIP services.
VoIP. You can call your friend who lives in the U.S. to relay the message.
Yeah.
You can. I'll give you John's number. You could text him, and he'll put a voice message in for you.
Yeah, that's. I'm glad you mentioned that. Don't fucking text this number, people.
Oh yeah.
This is a call and this. I don't know if you are aware yet, but this is an audio show,
right?
Podcast. If you want to ask a question, we're not going to go into the text messages of that number and read your question.
What an insane.
Call and leave
Please
a
call.
voice message. Voice message.
You want to talk about being 31? You want to talk about iPhone Air? It's up to you.
I don't want to talk about being 31, but I guess here we are. Well, okay, so we have an office together, like an office studio together for the first time.
First time in our entire professional and friend relationship.
Yeah, and it's like a recent thing. We've done multiple podcasts together. Of course, we had Recycle Bin as well.
Yeah.
We never once recorded any of those together physically in the same location.
And we could have. We've lived close within 30 seconds or a few minutes from each other for years.
Yeah, literally at one point we lived in the same apartment complex. It was like a 2-second walk, and yet we didn't do that. We recorded remotely.
We totally could have.
For no reason. But we have a physical space together, and that has presented a couple challenges. Number one, it's presented one challenge. Number one, it's hard to actually do the work part.
Oh, yeah. We distract each other so much.
At one point, last week before, just decided to make like a nostalgic game section in the corner of the office.
Yeah, games from our childhood that we had either lost to time or sold or whatever.
We could have just, done work.
We didn't.
But we dedicated like a large portion of time to setting up this little space. And for my birthday, which was yesterday, Brian got me kind of rebuilt my childhood collection for PlayStation.
Games. PlayStation 2, yeah.
Well, PlayStation 1 as well, which is cool because PlayStation 2 could play both of those things. And also, it's not the slim PlayStation. PlayStation was a very popular console in my household. And the 2 was around long enough to where we also ended up getting the slim version a little bit after. The slim version at the time, when I was a kid, was super cool.
It was the cool one, for sure.
It's the small, thin one, and the other one is real big and beefy and looks
fat.
old and dated.
It's literally called the PS2 Fat.
Is it really?
In circles of like retro game, yeah, it's like the fat one.
But now it's the coolest one.
It got a vibe to it.
Yeah, it's more nostalgic. So we were playing that, and for my birthday wish was for Bern to beat a game for me that I was trying to beat through most of my childhood. It seemed like I played that game forever. Like I put so many hours into the game, but now with context, I have realized the furthest I ever got into that game was 3 levels out of like 20. It's the Xena Warrior Princess game based on the show, which
Oh,
was,
boy.
don't even get me started. The best show is the show of my childhood. Lucy Lawless was my first crush. Lucy, if you're listening, 404-919-5530.
That'd be crazy.
Leave us a nobody if you find Lucy Lawless, please don't peer pressure her or
Don't
harass
bother
her.
her.
Yeah. Only if she's listening, Lucy, you can call.
Let it naturally happen, guys.
But I've never seen the end of that game because I only got to the 3rd level.
Yeah.
So Brian was like, okay, we'll beat it. I will beat this game for you. The only issue was in our adventure of buying nostalgic pieces, none of those nostalgic pieces were a PlayStation 1 memory card.
Yeah. And I just need to clarify, it wasn't that I would necessarily beat it for you. You were leading the charge playing this game. But after your childhood memories, like the first 3 levels were up, that game gets really fucking hard.
It does.
So you're just not... Your gaming chops were just frankly not up to snuff.
I wonder if it's the hardest PlayStation 1 game for no reason.
It might be. I'd consider it.
And you played the game. It took us two days to get through it, but you did beat it.
I did.
Not without a fight though, because there
Holy
was a couple
fuck.
times where your sanity was brought into question.
It was dropping dangerously low.
And I had to bring you back from the dead a couple times. He for real quit. Angry quit was done.
Rage inducing. And I don't get mad at games anymore. I'm a gamer guy. I like video games. I've beaten all the Dark Souls games and all that shit and Elden Ring and blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I don't get mad at games anymore. I'm a father now. I got things.
Is that the rule? You can't get mad anymore?
Oh, I mean, you definitely can. But I pay bills. I got a life. I got a wife. I got a kid. If a game makes me mad, I go, I'll take care of this another time. Whatever. But John, and it was his birthday. I was like, nah.
Well, Bern, I have I may or may not have recorded you during this process.
Yeah, I know.
It's an audio podcast, so I didn't record video of you. I knew better. It's only
Thanks.
audio. I have two audio clips for you and for the listeners, really. One, is in the thick of it.
Okay.
One is in the thick of it, and you're going to hear, because without context, you're going to hear... There were a couple times previous to this clip where Brian loud quit.
Loud quit is a good word.
Screaming, saying things,
That's a good
yelling.
word, yeah.
But for this instance, he quiet quit, which was the scariest of them all. No sounds from his mouth. He just put the controller down and walked away and stomped up the stairs.
Oh, I ran up the stairs.
At
speed.
So you're going to hear his little footsteps, but the reason there's no yelling is because he was past that point.
Yeah, I just needed to get away. I needed to get away. I needed to expend the rage and the energy.
Have you heard these clips yet?
No, I've already. We beat the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Before recording, which was, by the way, the worst pre-recording.
I blame that for the episode going wrong.
Dude, if every podcast was preemptively, or rather recorded after people played a very rage-inducing video game, content would be halted.
Yeah.
There would be no good content.
It'd be very, very bad. So let's play that first clip of
right.
you in the thick of it.
Great, here we go.
Can you hit it?
That's me.
Am I doing something wrong?
I've never
This
heard
is
this.
you.
I'm behind a pillar!
I remember that.
What do you want?
Come on!
What? Come on!
Fall off the fucking thing!
I'm gonna freak out, bro.
I've never been so mad.
Can I not have a potion?
The words out of context.
Yeah.
Here he goes.
Oh, I left?
Yeah. He fucking ran up the stairs. I think he left. Are you alright?
I think when you asked that, I had my head down.
This is me running up the stairs with the
Oh.
phone in my pocket. You good? Mm-hmm. I just
That was-
walked up and he wasn't looking at anything or anybody. He was gone. He wasn't there.
The equivalent would be like a World War I soldier experiencing shell shock, I think was what I was dealing with.
But don't worry, because eventually
We did beat it.
you did. You beat it.
Dude.
And I was there to cheer you on. And you were you can hear the happy in your voice. You pretended like you weren't happy, but boy, I
Yeah.
could hear it in there.
It took me so long to actually be okay. After
Have
that,
you recovered today?
so we have another 40-second. Here we go. Oh God,
Run, Tina!
it's John celebrating. I was locked in.
What? Yeah!
A celebration.
Go!
I think I just whimpered.
Go! That's what happens if you persevere.
That was the worst.
That's what happens if you don't give up.
I've never had such a bad gaming experience. Dude.
You loved it. You pretended like you didn't love it, but I can hear the love in there.
Yeah, I pretended so hard. I just the game finished and I just took my glasses off and put my head in my hands. That was my dude. I really so much of that was powered by your birthday.
Well, now that game is special to both of us, not just me and my childhood. Now, when you think of Xena, you will remember that game fondly for the victory it enabled.
I was gonna explain Xena, but there's no reason to. It was a show from the 90s that you really liked and you dressed up as.
Can you just act happier about it at least?
It was a great show
Yes,
from the 90s.
it was amazing.
That you loved, that as a child you dressed up as the main character and she's a princess and a warrior. And it turns out the video game is just the worst thing. So anybody who has a PlayStation or I guess a computer who can emulate PlayStation games, go give it a try. It's just the worst.
Clearly, it's a lot of fun.
So
and
fun.
If you can get access to that game, I would play it. Anyway,
Moving on.
all that to say, we have a space together.
We have a cute little old TV setup that we picked up off Facebook Marketplace for free, like a tube TV.
Very sketchy transaction.
It was. We were definitely I definitely texted my wife hey, we're going to meet this guy at this address. If you don't hear from me in an hour, call the police.
And if something happens to us, that would be the story that gets out. We went to pick up an old ass TV from some random guy on Facebook Marketplace, and we got butchered. And no one would be surprised.
No, they'd
not
be
a single person.
Everybody who read that would go yeah. Of course they did.
So we have a space together, which is why you're finally getting Recycle Bin, even though we've been talking about bringing it back for a year and a half. Even bugging Audio Boom, our agency, about bringing it back for a year and a half. And finally, everyone has an agreement. We have signed the paperwork, and you get the show. So I guess before we get into the other stuff, shall we address this iPhone Air situation?
Yeah.
It has gotten away from us a little bit.
It's funny because not only has it generally gotten away from us since the episode was posted, since we recorded, did the first, inaugural episode, it got away from us further.
It did.
This has since been covered by so many news outlets, has been confirmed, confirmed-ish by Mark Gurman. TechLinked talked about it, dude.
Well, it was on TechLink. My face was on TechLink yesterday. Yeah.
What?
Okay, so listen, everybody. This is what happened. We made a YouTube video. We wrote a YouTube video about the iPhone 17 Slim.
Yeah.
Okay? We wrote it. Brian wrote it.
I did.
As the writer of the show.
I wrote it, yeah.
And then I recorded it as the host of the show.
Uh-huh.
That then was edited completely. Edit was finished.
And it was just normal... analysis. It was a very, very run-of-the-mill front page tech episode. Very what you'd expect from old school FPT. Just, hey, got some news. Talk about the news. Make it funny. Here we go.
Episode was finished. Thumbnail was done. It was ready to go out the next day. And then late at night or something,
vitamins were had.
Are the legal variety. Oh, it doesn't matter. It is legal in where we are now.
Yeah,
it is legal.
It
is.
is.
Vitamins are legal. Yeah, I'm pretty sure vitamins were had. And as I do, late at night, did you get a text message?
Yeah, sorry.
How dare you? Unprofessional. Unprofessional? Fucking got him.
Your story. Sorry for everybody who heard an iOS alert.
It wasn't your phone. It was his.
It was my phone, yeah.
So late at night, after vitamins, I was I come up with a better idea. It clicks in my head that I think... a certain part of this leak of the iPhone 17 Slim is incorrect.
It wasn't adding up, and it was the price.
Yes, and if that's correct, that took me down a vitamin-enhanced spiral.
Can we just say it?
Weed?
Yeah. I just say it just once. If we say vitamins, it means that.
Okay, yeah. Now everyone knows. I went down to Spiral, and I was like, okay, I think this is the iPhone Air. Big brain moment. And it all made sense to me. The marketing made sense.
It did.
I could visualize it.
Yeah.
So news outlet people, after you wrote your articles, I hope you know this is what started it. I hope you're proud of yourself.
Yeah, really.
Then I'm like, I think we should rewrite the video. I think we can do it better. Brian agrees that that iPhone Air makes complete sense, and it makes so much sense to him that he is able to contrive a story that makes sense in marketing as well.
Yeah.
Like looking back at how the MacBook Air was announced, where it was sitting in the lineup, and more importantly, how Steve
introduced everything.
Yeah,
like how he packaged the introduction for the MacBook Air.
Yeah. And then then I read that. I'm like, wow, now I feel even better about this.
Now we're cooking here.
So I record the episode and I start editing the episode, and it's a banger.
It's clicking, yeah.
I can see that this is a good video.
Uh-huh.
There was no current B-roll of this device. There's no concepts.
Because it's not real.
Because it's not real. Yeah, there's no concepts. And then if you look up iPhone Air concept on YouTube, you're going to find stuff from like 7 years ago.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like a thin iPhone 5 looking thing.
Right.
So can't use that either. So I reach out to Shay. There's like 5-6 hours before this episode is supposed to be up because we have an ad due.
Yeah.
And so I text him, I was like, hey, can we do this? And he's like, yeah, we jump on it. And then again, it's the middle of the night when this is happening.
Mm-hmm.
And Shay's in a hurry too. And he's like, how am I supposed to model this? What do you want it to look like? And I'm pretty sure I said something along the lines of, it's not real, so just do whatever.
Go crazy.
Yeah, make it an iPhone 16, slim bezels, thin, and like make it more like the SE4. Like, because there's one camera.
Yeah, I think the only thing we knew was from Ming Chi Kuo, right?
Yeah.
And he said it was going to be like, was it 5 millimeters? I think it was.
Yeah.
Like, we don't even know.
One camera, the screen resolution, like actually a lot of specifications for this.
Yeah, we kind of had the general size of it. Like, it was going to be about the size of a plus. Of a 16
and
or 15
I think
plus.
that's why. I think that's what helped sway us too, because Kuo Ming Chi had a lot of the details. Like, he had very detailed specs, whereas Ice Universe, who was giving us the price, wasn't coming with concrete info.
Yeah. It didn't feel right. So we just gave that to Shay, and he modeled a thing, and we went, okay, here you go.
Within hours. Even at one point, he was like, should the camera be vertical or horizontal? I'm like, make it look different. You know, make it look like a newer iPhone. So, and if the other ones are vertical, let's do a vertical camera.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. He stayed up like way longer than he needed to or had to for that because he's Shay. And then next thing you know, the episode comes out. I go to sleep.
Yeah.
Like, and because we were like up all night doing it. But that's what I love. I love knowing that you're sitting on gold and staying up to just get it out, especially when there's an ad due. It's the thrill of the chase.
Yeah. It was good stuff.
So it goes out. The video does well immediately, and I'm proud of the story we told in it. So,
and then it,
so far, so good.
Then it kind of did too well, and then we noticed some talk cropping up elsewhere.
Yeah, I get on fucking Genius Bar, which, by the way, Genius Bar listeners, if you're listening to this, Genius Bar's still going on. Don't worry. It's still, Genius Bar will be posted once a week per usual. I don't have a usual day for that because we can't figure out time, Sam and I. It's hard. It's the hardest thing about us.
Yeah, he's still doing Genius Bar. I have a duel to the death scheduled with Sam Cole.
Okay.
After that, we'll see who has custody of John
me.
Prosser.
Yeah,
we'll see.
So don't worry. You still get Genius Bar and this. I don't know if you want to listen to two of me in 1 week, but there you go. You're welcome. I get on Genius Bar, and Sam starts shitting in me.
He really did shit in you.
He did shit in me, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I guess there had been a lot of news articles written about this.
Yeah, which you're directly responsible for all of that.
Yeah, of course. The news articles they took one of two angles. The first one was, hey, this is a really interesting theory.
Which is correct.
Yeah,
that's the one. That's the real one.
This is first of all, don't write news articles about our YouTube videos. That's like our first tip.
Not anymore.
Yeah, that's our first tip.
Yeah.
But I understand. News is slow, right? We do the same thing. News is slow, not a lot going on, and it was a pretty good theory. So yeah, write an article, discussing that theory, create a conversation. That's all right. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
I don't know who started it first, but it feels to me like one news outlet was like, yep, slow news week, let's write this. And then from there, the rest of them, it was just a game of telephone after that. And the rest of them didn't like actually watch the video. They were just trying to translate what the first article said.
Yeah, I think somebody at one point, one article, I should say, one publication said like a leak. John Prosser leaked it.
Yes.
And we're like, no.
Yeah.
We didn't leak anything.
Half the articles were like, interesting theory, and half the articles was, John Prosser, leaker extraordinaire, says this is the iPhone Air, not the 17 Slim, and by the way, this is what he says it looks like. Yeah. So all of the screenshots of the renders that you publications posted and used as news, we made with Shay in like 3 hours just guessing.
For fun.
Just so you could visualize the theory,
the concept that we were trying to feed to you. I think at some point it was just like positioned as a thought experiment, like, hey, just for fun, call this in your head the iPhone Air, not the Slim, and that was the only reason.
That was the video.
That was it. Just hey, let's just retool the brain for a second. Here's a visual to go with it, and now it has become a leak.
I guess we have a history of leaking things, so
we're very clear when we say or have said in the past, this is a leak, or like this is
from a source. Yeah,
none of that happened.
In fact, the whole thing I was like, this was from the very beginning, like within the first 17 seconds, iPhone 17 Slim. I was like, this information is from Quo and Ice Universe. Those were the two sources of information.
Right.
Okay. Articles go real crazy, real fast. I don't find out about that until Genius Bar. That's just like, I don't even know how to respond. Like, there's nothing I can do about that for the laziness of the outlets that wrote this as if it was real news and a real leak. At no point, if any of them did, journalistic research, which in this case would be to just watch a 12-minute video.
Click into it, and you could even just read the transcript.
You could, yes. Before you write your article, like, I am embarrassed for all of us in this community that real respected news publications use that video as news and didn't do research.
And then the funniest thing happened where Mark Gurman came out and said, do you remember the phrasing?
Not exactly, but I took shit from Sam for 2 weeks.
You did.
So I took it for a few days afterwards.
Yeah.
On that episode of Genius Bar, then the news articles happened, and then the news articles got worse for the rest of the week. Then I got yelled at again by Sam.
Yeah, because the articles got popular. Yeah.
And then also on Sunday, I can't believe what a plot twist. Mark Gurman puts out the Power On newsletter. And in one of the paragraphs towards the end, he mentions that there's a slim iPhone coming next year that is their Air take on iPhone.
What?
Bro, there was so much speculation before our video, because mine wasn't the only theory. There was also a theory that the reason this phone is so slim and the specs are so weird is that it's a foldable phone.
Yeah.
That explains why the specs are a little bit limited and the price is so high.
Agreed.
I get that theory. But Kuo Ming Chi knows about the foldable phone, has reported on the foldable phone. He clearly knows that this is a separate project. So that theory's out to me.
Yeah.
iPhone Air theory in. So there is a chance that Mark Gurman, if he finds out about it, he's like, it's a foldable iPhone. That's not what he said. He literally says it's an Air take on the iPhone. That's going to be how this is marketed. So after all of the articles and after the drama surrounding the video, the plot twist is that it's probably right.
That
hurts me.
We fell into this, you realize.
I guess. Like, what is there? I'm trying to not just put it all on the publications that reported it like it was news without doing any proper research. But is there confusion because we were a news channel?
I don't know. I mean, people have said that like the thumbnail was a bit like too clickbaity, but that's the game, baby.
Yeah, don't hate the play, I hate your game.
Like, also, that was a fucking nice thumbnail.
It was.
So like, that's just what we do.
Yeah, we're trying to make art out here. We out
here.
If you think Front Page Tech, if you've been watching and you think at this stage Front Page Tech is still like a news show, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't feel like it is that anymore. Front page tech is something else, and we'll talk about that. Don't you worry.
Funny segue, actually. This works out
Go ahead.
because what would normally go here is we'd start talking about a brand that's paying us, like an ad.
Yeah.
But we're a little early.
This is the first episode. Usually you'd have host read ads from us, but today you're going to have some pre-recorded ads. They're going to play after this ad break. When we come back, we'll get you caught up on
get spicy.
who Bern is, sort of a quick history lesson of front page tech, and then we're going to end with like where front page tech is heading.
Yeah.
Give you guys a little inside baseball, inside scoop, because this is our podcast and this is our outlet, and we do what we want. So should we do ads now?
Yeah, go ahead. Wow, welcome back. Those were probably some very fun ads.
I hope you had so much fun. So Bern, you've been around for a little bit.
I've been around for a long time, but we had a little break. There's a little bit of a break.
There was a bit of a falling out, you might say.
Yeah, but is that what we're... okay, you wrote a lot of these notes for this episode.
I did.
This says, for today's episode, since it's been so long, you are here, Maps.
Okay.
What does that
Let
mean?
me just say, vitamins were probably part of that as well.
Okay.
You know how, like, when you're looking at a map, when you're at an amusement park or at
like
a big old mall,
Like a shopping mall?
yeah, big
okay.
one, and you look at the map because you just found one. It's in the middle of the floor, and it not only tells you where the stores are, but like you don't know where to go if you have no context about where you are. So there's a
I
little
see.
point on the map that says you are here.
So you're going to tell us
Yeah, what I wanted to
when they are here.
Yeah, like I want to give a little history lesson of front page tech, and then
Okay.
be like, okay, that part that we just said, this is the part you're at now in
I
the history of
see.
front page tech.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
you are
yeah, yeah.
here.
Sure. So you're going to... Okay, let's walk
Okay,
through. Let's
so
walk
Brian
through.
and I were best friends from high school.
Yeah, we've been best buds since like age like 17 probably. So a long time ago. 2011.
We were friends longer, but it took a little bit to become...
like good buds.
Yeah, and that's where
Yeah.
Jern and Bern comes from, by the way. We...
Old school.
John, Brian, at some point, not for content, not for front page tech, like at part of our friendship.
Just to make ourselves laugh, yeah.
Yeah, I started calling him Bern.
And then Jern showed up.
And yeah,
Because of course, why wouldn't it?
and he called me Jern. So that's where Bern and Jern's from.
Yeah.
Coming out of high school... Why are you laughing?
I'm sorry. I'm just looking at the notes that are ahead, and one made me laugh. I'll mention it when it comes
Oh
up.
God. Okay. Coming out of high school, like during school, I attempted a couple YouTube channels. They didn't work, and we're not going to talk about that.
Right.
After high school, though, Brian and I were friends with another guy, so it was sort of a group of three.
Thruple.
A throuple. Yeah, we were a group of three. He's dead now. We killed him.
He's not dead. He's just not our friend.
That's kind of what I said still.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had a little stint there for a second, almost immediately after high school, where we were going to try to do short films.
Yeah, and that's like kind of where a lot of that's kind of where we got acclimated to producing content.
yeah,
came in.
cameras
like
and
getting
mics
used to
and-
cameras and microphones and everything
Yeah.
like that. Lights. Like we still got some currently the green screen used for actual front page tech videos is lit by soft boxes
That my grandma bought me.
back early, like
I don't think any. Yeah, that's crazy. You bring that up. So
That's
other,
how long
other
this
than like
is.
the aperture light and the LED panels that we have, when I started Front Page Tech, I wonder if there's no way Jordan's going to hear this, but I
No
had
way.
a friend named Jordan who was like very good at photography. Probably still is very good at photography.
yeah, he's great.
And he had professional lights.
Uh-huh.
And when we were starting Front Page Tech, I was like, hey, because what I wanted was a white backdrop, so I had like a white bed sheet.
It was a bed sheet stretched as far as physically
Yeah.
possible and I
Yeah.
think nailed into the wall.
And to get it as white as possible, I needed like big professional lights. That's what I thought. So Jordan was selling his, so I think I spent, I don't know, like $400 on his, and that was like all the money that I had at the time.
Yeah, because you were just working at like a convenience store
Yeah.
at the time.
And I bought his lights and I brought them home and I put them in this place where I recorded Front Page Tech. It sounds wrong to call it a studio.
It was a spare bedroom.
Yeah. And I put the lights up, and what I didn't know at the time was that video lights are a little bit different than photography lights because
Yeah.
for video, you need the lights to be continuous. They need to be on all the time. The photography lights that I bought from Jordan only come on for a split second when a camera flash happens.
Yeah, it was a very specific thing.
So that did not work. So I start begging my grandma. I was like, oh, I asked Jordan if I could give the lights back. He wanted them back. So I went and I begged my grandma if she could. I wanted her to buy soft boxes for Front Page Tech. And trust me, it's gonna work.
Yeah, I may have messed up once, but now I Googled it and I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, if you give me $5 now, I will triple it in a year. So I convinced her to buy, like, I don't know. They had to be like $80-something lights, and I have never stopped using them. No matter where we move to, no matter like what progress we make in the business, I still light the green screen with those lights because it's adorable.
It's funny, even like looking at the lights, because these are the lights like we used to have to tear down and set up during certain living situations.
We used to pay my little brother in a single Mountain Dew from the vending machine every day to set up and tear down the set for us.
Yeah, like they're also beaten up and raggedy looking. Like there's marks. Like there's like black marks.
I don't know what that is.
On the
Is it tape? Like did we try to tape it?
I have no idea.
I don't know. We're looking into the Front Page Tech like set right now.
Yeah.
Well, we have our friends over at Aperture are sending us like a ridiculous light. They wanted to replace every light that we had in the Front Page Tech set.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say no.
No.
So yeah, our good friends at Aperture are sending us. I think they're replacing every light that we have, which is amazing. So thank you guys.
All this to say, once upon a time, before Front Page Tech, we made short films. And
we
they
made
were not
short
good.
films. Do you remember the live show we wanted to do also?
Yeah, we had a sort of live, like I think we were going to stream it on Justin TV. At the time,
God!
Before Twitch, before it was called Twitch.
Yeah,
and that didn't work. I mean, we didn't even have the internet.
We didn't have a camera.
We didn't have a lot of things, John.
We really wanted to do like a live podcast talk show, but the weirdest thing about that is that it was supposed to be a local thing. Like, it was supposed to be for the people that knew us. I don't know whose idea that was.
It was a bad one.
Like, for our first episode, as a guest, we wanted our old English teacher from high school, which I guess at the time, that was just a year prior.
Which is a stupid idea, even back then.
That's the guest we wanted for our show.
Yeah.
For our live show. Anyway, none of that stuff really worked out. We did a few short films. None of them are good. You're never going to see them, so don't even ask.
No.
Those are gone. I started Front Page Tech, like, during that time. Like, I think the original plan was to keep doing the short films and do Front Page Tech. It just didn't work out that way.
It didn't. Yeah, that just wasn't how the cookie crumbled.
This is around the time where the throuple became a couple. We lost the third member, and then it's just been... but I think losing that member and doing Front Page Tech is actually what made us, like, what solidified this union.
I would agree. I had to lean away to burp, and then you didn't vamp for me while I was burping. You just let me hanging.
I'm sorry. Every Monday, Brian would be part of Front Page Tech. My original idea was that Front Page Tech was every day, Monday through Friday. And on Mondays, because Brian was going to college, you gave that the old college try.
Haha. Yeah, I didn't like it, so I didn't keep going one day.
What were you going to college for?
To be a history teacher, because I like history. I didn't do it.
Do you wake up some days and go, wow, I was almost a teacher and I would rather do that?
No.
Okay, no? You sure?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So I would pick him up on the weekends and he would like spend the night with me over the weekend.
And Sunday night we would record Monday's episode.
Front Page Tech,
Before you took me back to my life.
Yeah, which the episode consisted of me standing in front of that white backdrop with Brian behind the camera, but also holding a boom pole with a Rode video mic on it.
It was terrible. Like giving slight color commentary when appropriate or inappropriate.
Like, was that because it was professional? Because we saw people on TV holding boom poles, so we had to do it?
It must have been. We were like literally 18, so we were not smart. And this was like 2013, okay? So
yeah.
It was hard out there.
I feel like the booming lasted longer than it should have.
It did. It really did.
But you were also like a character on the show. It wasn't just booming. You would also like say stuff.
Yeah,
behind
color
the camera.
commentary. Yeah,
and that progressed into what became Front Page Tech. Every episode was you
commentary.
So
on a mic.
We lived in a trailer, like a mobile home.
Mobile home. I gotta say. So the notes are laid out here. We got high school, short films, FPT. And then under the FPT bracket, we have Burn on Mondays. The next entry just says struggle. So that's you mentioned living in a mobile home, the trailer, and then doing the show and everything. That's the struggle part.
It got worse.
It did get worse.
It literally got worse. We lived in a trailer mobile home thing, and the setup for Front Page Tech consisted of we leaned a pop-up green screen against a refrigerator and a small kitchen.
Using the help of a dining room chair.
Yeah.
We had a hair light on a box situated on top of the fridge.
Yeah.
And the hair light was a desk lamp that was just pointed directly under your head.
Yeah, like a very bright light.
Yeah.
Looking back, it didn't look too bad.
And it did. And this is where we had to literally set up and tear down every episode.
And we could only record at night.
Right, because there was also, you had a grandmother living with you.
Oh, but the trailer,
the light
there were
tree.
Windows.
Right, it was a house. We lived there.
Yeah, and we were just recording from a check in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So we couldn't make it completely black in there, so we'd have to wait till nighttime, so then we could set up our lights and control the lighting environment and record at night.
I just remembered, because, again, it was a kitchen. There was no sound treatment.
Oh, no.
So you stood on a blanket.
A comforter. A comforter.
You're right. Sorry,
it was a comforter.
It was a
I
comforter.
forgot
Yeah.
about that.
We had to pull out your comforter from your bedroom.
Oh my God.
You stood on it. Yeah, and that helped.
My brother would
little
set up
bit.
the lights, and then so you guys know how trailers set up. You gotta have been in one at some point,
Maybe.
or seen one on TV. I don't know. So I'm standing in the kitchen, and if I'm looking straight ahead, it is the rest of the trailer long ways.
Yeah.
And on the other wall at the end is a leather couch with Brian sitting on it.
That was me.
You're many feet away,
Like 10 feet. Yeah.
wearing
at
an
least.
Astro A40 headset,
A
mic'd
gaming
into
headset.
a Zoom H1. And that is how we recorded the show, with me hosting, completely ad-libbed, and you also ad-libbing, correcting me, and
I would
trying
just-
to steer the show.
Yeah, I would feed you stories, and then I would read up. I'd tell you what the story was about. I would have to correct you constantly.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare. That was a crazy time.
At that time, you were also going to work.
I had a full-time job. Yeah, somehow.
couple around that time.
Jern, impressively, you have lasted an incredibly long time without having what people would call real employment.
I'm fucking scrappy. Oh, I completely forgot that you're a kind of a big reason that Front Page Tech, the name, stuck.
Yeah.
We were going through names right before Front Page Tech started. I remember being in my bedroom, it was just bro time. We weren't really trying to work, and it was late at night, and I was discussing names for this tech news show, and you guys were very close to getting Tech News Basics with an X, because at the time I was branding everything with that, Basics. It was
Yeah.
I had a website in high school called Geek Basics, where people could upload tutorials for PC tutorials. For
Fairly
anything.
popular, too.
Yeah, to build PCs, hardware-based stuff, a lot of software-based stuff.
Just real quick, imagine if somebody's listening to this podcast and they don't put the pieces together, and they were aware of Geek Basics at the time, and they go, "He's the guy."
Yeah.
What are the
Dude,
odds of that happening?
The colors for that website were orange and blue, and I wore one orange and one blue Converse every day to school.
You also always wore your own merch to
Such a
school,
fucking
which
asshole.
you were you were handing out lanyards and T-shirts at a high school. You were
One of my most embarrassing memories from high school is that I brought a clipboard to school and was like, "Hey, I'm getting Geek Basics merch made. I don't have the money to print it.
Yeah.
If you want a shirt, put your name here and give me $20, and then we'll have them printed, and I'll bring them back to the school."
Yeah, and I was one of those people.
Yeah,
There's a few.
maybe 15 shirts.
Pretty good.
The issue was the people that print T-shirts, they just print whatever you give them. They won't check it.
Nobody's reading over and going, "Yep, that looks correct."
Yeah, and I get a box of shirts back, and on the rear of the shirt, on the back of the shirt, it says,
Well, hang on. It was meant to say something specific.
it was supposed to say free online tech support 24/7.
Yeah, it didn't say that, though, did it? It's slightly different. It said free online tech support 24/7.
It did. It said 27, so I had to give everyone their money back and a free T-shirt. They all got so everyone was walking around with T-shirts that had 27/7 on the back. I hated it all. That hurts me to even think about. I wish I could go back and redo that. If there's one regret in my life out of
That's
all
the one?
that's the one.
Wow,
that's
that's
the most
impressive.
embarrassing thing.
So fast forward a little bit here.
Yeah, we're discussing names. I'm throwing out tech news basics, all this other stuff. Brian's going, no.
No, that was we were trying to move away from that.
At one point, I kind of just like under my breath say front page tech, and he goes, that's the one. And I remember you looking up to see if the domain had been taken for that,
Yeah.
and by some miracle, it hadn't.
Which is insane,
Yeah.
actually. Like the luck at the time.
So front page tech stuck, and now it's just FPT, which I think is better branding because we're not trying to really be like a daily tech news show anymore.
And who has pages?
Who has them?
Front page? That's a newspaper.
Yeah,
thing.
front page does like indicate that there are more than that page.
Yeah, we always joked about there being a back page tech.
We do have a YouTube channel. We have that name just in case we're feeling frisky.
Who knows? It might come up.
Yeah, we do own a back page tech, and all of that was bad.
That's the struggle
Yeah.
section. Living off peanut butter and cheap Chinese food. Yeah.
Yeah, living in that trailer and trying to do front page tech. I did have jobs during that time. For a little bit, I worked for Chris Perillo. You guys might remember him.
Which is crazy.
Yeah, I worked for him. I edited every video he made for like a year of my life.
Uh-huh.
And he made multiple videos every day. Love you, Chris, but holy shit. So I that's how I started. I would do that stuff to like, keep
the
trying to
lights
do
on.
front page tech and stuff like that. And at the time, long story, won't go into that, but I also had custody of my little brother, so it was like a whole. Our life was a lot.
It was
trying
a
to keep
lot.
front page tech afloat.
Working full time and coming home to you and
Coming home to you.
fighting over who's doing dishes next.
Yeah, oh, God.
We didn't have a dishwasher, so
life was so
the
simple.
dishwasher was your little brother, and he
Yeah.
did a bad job.
Very bad.
Yeah.
Chris, so bad. So we sort of go our separate ways in terms of like living together. We're still best buds and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. We just moved out I moved out from his place.
I also moved. I got a house that I definitely couldn't afford because Front Page Tech got a deal with Velcro. It sounds weird.
And
but
it was also, by the way, one deal, which was even for a year?
it was 6 months.
Dude, short-sighted is not even the begin to describe
I
our
remember I
decision-making.
I wouldn't call it a job. I was more of like a consultant for an agency called Grin.
Oh, yeah.
They were trying to build. I think they're still around. They tried to build. It's like where brands could meet creators. Remember FameBit back in the day?
Oh, yeah. It was like a kind of a middleman type platform for brands to like put out pitches and then creators to swoop in. And
Yeah, it's like we'll give you $20 to say this.
Exactly. It was a quick and dirty, way to get brand deals.
So I was
for smaller
consulting
creators.
for them, and they flew me out to Anaheim, California, or Sacramento. Sorry, that's
Sacramento,
where
yeah.
their office was. And when I was there, I get an email from Velcro brand that's like, "Hey, we'd really like to work with you." Okay, so we set up a phone call. I'm in California. I get on the phone with them.
But by the way, this didn't happen like often.
No,
This was
we didn't have sponsors.
like now everything's sponsored, but back then, if you got a call from a brand and they wanted to work with you and you didn't have to email them and bother them, and you're
Yeah.
like, wait, what? You know who I am?
Yeah,
Like you want to pay me?
yeah, and it's Velcro. Like they've got money somewhere.
Yeah.
And so what they wanted us to do was promote their cable management stuff.
Yeah.
And they were offering a 6-month deal, which at the time, if we had been paid by anyone, it was $10, $20, maybe $100 on a great day.
Like per video basis.
Yeah, to promote something on a single video. But
Yeah.
Velcro wanted to sign a 6-month deal with us to be the exclusive sponsor.
Yeah. A
And-
big deal.
Are you ready for this? The price for that 6-month deal was $10,000.
And that sounds like a decent amount of money.
But that's for all of the 6 months. That's the
Yeah,
total
right.
price.
For-
After the 6 months are over, you will have been paid $10,000. So I think it was like, what does that break down to? Like $1,600 per month?
Oh, dude, this is not a
I don't know.
math
Math
podcast.
is hard.
Yeah.
So that I saw that and thought we were rich.
You saw dollar signs. You're like,
I'd never seen 10,000 anything, and
Yeah.
so not even 10,000 subscribers. I don't think we had at the time.
no, probably not.
So my dumbass just decides to get a house and move out of the trailer because we're gonna have money. So I do that. I get a house, and the struggle is very real. Front Page Tech is not doing well. We made Front Page Tech for 6 or 7 years before anyone cared about any of it.
Pretty accurate, yeah.
Negative money was made, and during this time, in between the Velcro deal and me living at this house, towards the end of that Velcro deal with Front Page Tech struggling, I get a call from Amazon.
Yep.
And Amazon wants to hire me as a host. They have this idea, brilliant idea for...
Brilliant idea.
Yeah, live shows on Amazon's website. Think like QVC, but happening on Amazon. They're going to build a set.
Yep.
You're going to be on the front page of Amazon, and below your live stream will be what they called a carousel of all the products that you were talking about, so people on Amazon could purchase those products. That was the whole idea. They fly me out, and I have to audition. I do an audition with a bunch of other tech people from YouTube and from like real life, probably from actual QVC stuff.
Actual professionals.
Arguably,
yeah.
By some miracle, I get the job.
Just through sheer force of personality.
Yeah.
And yeah.
They pick me, and they start building a set in New York City for the show.
Uh-huh.
I wait almost 6 months for that show to get greenlit. The producer for my show on Amazon is now the producer for The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon.
That's crazy.
Like, that's what he moved on to do, and I moved on to do this.
In the funniest part of this whole story, the whole thing fell through.
Oh, yeah. The whole thing fell through at some point, even while I was in New York. So they flew me out a few times a week, and I remember being so sick. I get motion sick so easily.
You were living on planes, which is where motion sickness also comes to get you.
They'd fly me on this tiny little plane, like an American Express plane, I think.
Toilet paper tube.
Yeah, little tiny plane. American Airlines Express something. And American Eagle, that's what they called the tiny planes.
Yeah.
And I would fly from Ohio to New York City multiple times a week. I was already sick on the plane, and then Amazon, because they're so kind and generous, would have a driver for me waiting when I got to the airport. Except any drivers from New York City drive like complete maniac asshole people.
Yeah, you kind of have to. It comes with the territory.
I'm getting off the plane motion sick, and then I get into their black SUV
Of
while they
motion
drive
sickness.
they drive insanely. And I'm sick. I get to the hotel. I'm just trying to lay my head flat into a pillow so my brain doesn't think I'm moving. Try to calm down the motion sickness before I got to be on set. And I did that for so long, and it was just one of the worst experiences of my life. I was on set one time, and they wanted me to promote an alarm clock that would wake you up with the power of the sun. It had like a ring light around the clock part, and at a certain time of the morning,
it would just shine in your face.
Yeah, it would gradually turn on and get very, very bright to make you think the sun was in your bedroom was the concept. I don't know. It was like $24. And I was promoting that. I'm reading it on a teleprompter, and I'm just like, I can't do this. And I walk off the set that day because I don't want to. I wanted Front Page Tech to work because I wanted to be my own boss.
Yeah, this is not that at all.
But something very important to mention is at this time, internally, and this was hard for me at that time, I had accepted that Front Page Tech was not happening. In my brain, I convinced myself that Front Page Tech was never going to be successful, but it got Amazon to find me. That's all. Maybe that's what it was for in the first place.
That was all you were meant to be.
The alarm clock seller.
Yeah.
Amazon doesn't go very well. I hate it. And at some time during the whole process, I say, because my show wasn't going to be the last one. They were trying to do a veterinary show, a cooking show, a makeup show, and the idea was they were going to use my set, which had LCD and TVs around everywhere, and they were just going to replace the logos per show. And I had floated the idea because they wanted YouTubers that had some sort of established name to come host these shows.
Yeah.
And I float the idea of, well, if you want YouTubers to do stuff and it's a live stream on Amazon, you could just pay them to live stream from their house. They don't have to come here and make a show with you like I am. And if anyone's wondering, that is what Amazon Live is now.
And you're kind of responsible for killing your own job.
Yeah, that's what happened to my show. It's now Amazon Live, where Amazon pays commission to YouTubers to live stream from their bedroom, talk about these products, sell these products on Amazon. And I think it like pays pretty well if you're not doing too hot on YouTube and you'd rather sell products for Amazon. That is an option. And so yeah, I kind of killed my own project. Almost killed myself.
Oh my god, that might not make it in. We'll see.
After that falls through, we kind of make commitment that it's now or never. Front Page Tech has to work. And soon after, we release a video called Apple Sucks Now, and it's your fault. This is kind of our first viral video. Viral to us at the time.
How many views did that video get?
Close to 1 million.
That's pretty good. That's
yeah,
pretty
maybe
good.
700 something thousand. At the time, we were getting maybe 300 views an episode.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
And that's the one that broke us out of that bubble.
We've never gradually grown. There's always been a pivotal moment.
Explosion.
Yeah.
We grow in explosions.
We posted this video, and overnight, it's got more views than we were ever used to before. And that feeling I will never forget. Of all those years struggling on YouTube, making this show, and the whole Amazon thing happens, that falls through, you're feeling really bad about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And suddenly you kind of strike gold with your first successful video. We went from 15 or 20,000 subscribers to within a few weeks we had 40 to 50,000.
Which was nuts at the time.
And suddenly we're going from 300 views an episode to about 10,000 views per show.
We felt like real YouTubers.
That
All of a
happened
sudden.
overnight.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I'll never forget that feeling of just optimism. Like, maybe this is going to work.
Right.
Maybe this is going to work out.
Maybe we'll get to pay the bills this time.
Yeah. maybe I won't get evicted.
Yeah.
Right after that is sort of the Pixel saga. I don't know if you guys remember Front Page Tech and the Pixel stuff, but that got us to like our next 100,000 subscribers, our first 100,000 subscribers, the Pixel stuff.
We were kind of like
cooking a little bit.
We were like the source for that stuff early on.
Yeah, and I think that's when we sort of found our stride.
What we thought.
Yeah, like we were pretty comfy making the show. The Pixel stuff then led us into leaking. I leaked a Samsung phone for my first leak, and then that just kind of evolved into doing Apple leaks. And
Yeah.
I feel like most people probably know the story there. The Apple leaks they get us to our next 150, 200,000 subscribers. We're now getting 50,000 views an episode, maybe 100,000 views if it's a good video or a good leak.
Yeah.
And it's right about this time where we bring Recycle Bin back, actually.
Yeah.
Which had been, we launched it, 2018, first episode ever.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Do a few episodes of that, maybe 11. It goes away for a while. We reboot it again. I think it goes away again.
Yeah.
And around the Apple leak thing, we decide to bring it back as like a call show where the viewers and listeners can call in and we will answer their voice messages. We do a few episodes of those. And soon after that, we have our huge falling out.
Yeah, that was kind of if you could believe it, even through all that, like what you would call success, we were still kind of struggling. And like there was money coming in, sure. But
enough for one person, maybe.
Yeah, we were still splitting the labor. Like I've worn a lot of hats at Front Page Tech here. You know, we were
at that time. Actually, you were editing,
right? Yeah, I mean, I've been on the show like with the mic and stuff. I've edited. I've written the show.
You've hosted a couple episodes.
Even before this, now I'm currently writing the show. I've hosted. I had a show for a hot second.
Oh my God, Hardwired!
Called Hardwired. It was going to be like product reviews, like.
Those were actually good. Hardwired was our take on product reviews. It was a quick show. Think Front Page Tech, but for product reviews. It was funny, goofy.
It was pretty solid. I didn't like hosting, though. Anyway.
You didn't like hosting?
Nah. But through all that, we were still having a hard time.
Yeah, we were not paying the bills very well.
Like, to like, inside baseball, if either one of us were working a full-time job at the time for a slightly above minimum wage, we probably would have made more money.
Yeah. I think at this time...
It was rough.
Yeah, this is even when the Apple leaks... So the Apple leak stuff hadn't peaked yet. This is still early Apple leak stuff. iPhone SE2 or SE3 rumors. I forget. What phone are we on now? It was the SE2.
Yeah.
It was the SE2, I think. And the show, numbers-wise, on the front end was doing pretty well.
It looked good.
In reality, we were... And demonetization was happening a lot at this time as well.
That was a big problem.
Because coronavirus was happening, and you couldn't say that in the YouTube video. It's like a whole thing. So half our videos were demonetized, even if they were doing well, and it didn't matter. Maybe, if I had to guess, we were bringing home like $2,000, $2,500 of YouTube ad revenue, and we didn't have sponsors.
Not really, no. Not around that time. It
Um,
was rough out there.
It was real rough, and we could not monetize Recycle Bin, which is why I think it was always the first thing to go. When things got hairy and we had
Yeah.
to double down on doing the right work to try to earn money, Recycle Bin was gone because we did not know how to monetize the show or get sponsors or anything. Luckily, you know, I hate to say it this way, but the saying "it's who you know" is actually very true.
It's so true.
Like building relationships with networks and agencies and stuff, that happened over time. Now we can launch any show, and you know, our agency will want it and will want to put ads on it and sponsors and all that stuff, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But at
Same.
the time, it was not like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason.
It seemed
You're-
impossible.
Yeah, and that right there is the reason you're getting, the lovely listener, getting to listen to Recycle Bin right now.
Yeah, thank
like,
Audio Boom.
We've wanted to bring the show back. It's just like we had to do it right. I mean, we're in a different spot now,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, needless to say, all those stresses, like production stuff, the years of struggle, and then the lack of paying the bills,
Yeah.
we kind of stopped being such good friends.
Yeah, it was the tensions were high, and we weren't addressing how the tensions were high, and it was just kind of weird.
Yeah.
And we were both doing separate things in life, and I was dealing with I'm an asshole. Like I don't know what I was doing at the time, but I had a lot of growing up to do, and I kind of fucked up our friendship, and there was about a year of time where we just didn't say a word. You would try to reach out a couple times, and I was too like ashamed to reach back out or say I'm sorry. That was not a thing that John Prosser was going to do at that time in his life.
Yeah. And then there was just, I think, I'm going to give credit to my boy, my son.
Oh yeah.
Because after I had a baby, I was like, man, I wish my best bud was here. This
Yeah.
sucks. And that kind of really started the rebuild. So
Well, we started talking and becoming friends again, but you did not want to touch Front Page
dude,
Tech.
no, I didn't want to work with this guy ever again. And this
Friendship,
was-
cool, but if we start Front Page Tech again, it'll probably kill the friendship again.
Yeah, that's what we were worried about. And then you, this sounds more nefarious than I mean it, but you like snaked in.
I did. Well, okay, here's the thing. Over this year of us not talking, we both grow up a lot.
Yeah.
Front Page Tech becomes a completely different company that is making actual money.
You're living you're no longer having to eat peanut butter.
Yeah,
as your
those days
meals.
are gone.
You
Yeah.
had like food. It was cool.
Yeah, I'm living in Arkansas at the time. Completely different life. Front Page Tech is doing really, really well. And Brian was happy for me, but still was not willing to jump the gun there and because he had a stable job. Are you okay saying where you were working?
Yeah, I was delivering and like managing for FedEx at the time.
Yeah.
It just happened to be.
And you were happy doing that.
Yeah, well, I mean, Frank, like to be totally real, I kind of had enough of like, I was fully ready to stop making like never do content again. Like I wanted to, I was going like I'm done with this. I want to like work now. Like
Yeah.
I was like wanting to work and make money, so I just wanted to like fast track into that, and I was pretty good at it. But I'm better
Well,
at this, I think.
Yeah, we're friends and having a friendly conversation, but then I start planting seeds. Like, what would it take for you to come back to Front Page Tech?
Uh-huh.
One of the main things was consistency and like consistent income, and I mean, understandably, that's horrifying. It's terrifying, especially how the last experience went, and you already put so many years of your life into this, and it didn't do anything. And so I kind of felt, one, I was ashamed for letting our friendship fall apart.
Uh-huh.
And I also felt that I owed you a lot because you were with me and Front Page Tech for all of the years before it became successful, and then
Yeah.
you didn't get to have any of the benefits of it actually working eventually. And so I wanted to like I don't know. I wanted to prove that Front Page Tech was better off and just show you that I was sorry. I flew you out to Arkansas, and that was our first time seeing each other in person, and that was, I think I needed that more
Yeah.
than you.
It was a good time though. It was good stuff. That you showed that you had changed as a person. You had like you grew up,
We start off slow. I convinced you to write for the website, frontpagetech.com, rest in spaghetti, never forgetting.
and that was going good.
Yeah.
It just turns out my talents were needed elsewhere.
Yeah, you were writing every day for the website, multiple articles. What was the rule? 3 articles a day or something?
Oh, it was 3 to 5.
And-
We're trying to get content. Yeah.
You were making more money writing for the website than you ever did for Front Page Tech, like throughout all of those years of working
Yeah.
together.
Wasn't that hard.
Yeah, wasn't saying much.
Yeah.
But eventually, I get you to, if you're you're already writing words,
Just change what the words are saying
Yeah, and
why
where
don't
they're
you-
going.
Why don't you write for the show?
Yeah, why don't you write let's say you're writing for the website, but pretend I'm going to say those words.
Yeah.
And so you start writing for the show, and I think that's the single greatest decision that we've ever made as a company is you writing and me hosting
Yeah.
and keeping it that way, because for so many years, I would get on camera, take like 15 minutes, ad-lib the whole thing, hand the footage to you, and you were the editor at the time.
Yeah.
You would try to make sense of any of the nonsense I was saying.
And it's so funny because we're doing the reverse of that now almost.
Yeah, well, during the Apple leak stuff was our first lesson of, news outlets started to write about things I was saying on the show. And then it became clear, if they're going to quote what I'm saying, I should probably think a little bit more in depth about what I'm saying.
That's good. That's good instinct.
Yeah, so that's where the show starts to get written. It's during the Apple leak thing where I'm getting freaked out about being quoted, so I make sure that I don't say anything I'm unsure of or haven't planned to say this way. So I start scripting every single thing, except I'm terrible at scripting.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at... If you give me a script that's 90% done, I can get it the next 10%. I can spruce it up or reorder things. But starting with a blank canvas is not something I am good at.
No.
And so that had to be the first thing that I gave up. I'm pretty good at seeing things that I'm not good at and that other people are better at. And you are miles better than me at writing and storytelling. And so I think that's the best decision we made. And that also landed us in the documentaries. You are here, by the way.
That's the "you're here" moment.
Yeah, you are here.
If you're looking at the map, you are here.
You are here. We
This whole doc thing, like making documentary style content, you were not originally too hype on.
well, we had okay, so Apple leak stuff occurs, and then leaking stuff is very hard. I don't think I've ever talked about why I
Yeah.
quit doing that, but number one, it is the stress of having information and knowing that there are probably at least a couple other people that have that information, and you want to be first,
Yeah.
and you either know how far or how far you are from finishing or close you are to finishing your video.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of times where I'm in the beginning stages and I'm like, well, what if Mark Gurman puts it out first? Or what if Quill puts it out first? And so I'm rushing, and just the stress of putting it out first is a lot. But no one talks about the stress of potentially getting people fired.
Yeah, like it's a lot of responsibility and like there's a margin of risk.
We
to
put a
leaking.
lot of effort into trying to protect sources. That's the whole
Yeah.
reason we started rendering stuff instead of posting images. I don't want to take credit and say that we started that, because I'm sure we didn't. But we purposely, when we got images from sources, I gave those images to one person. At that time, it was Ian. No one else saw those images.
Yeah.
He rendered out what he saw, so then we could show you a 3D rendered version of the product and got to dispose of the images. That way,
Right.
source is protected, you get to see the new iPhone or whatever, and everyone wins. And that was just a lot, because Apple doesn't, if they find the person or think they know where the person is, they won't try to specifically fire that person. They will fire the entire team.
Yeah, those just start taking heads.
It's it's kind of scary and horrifying and not great for your mental health, and staying up to put the story out, and everyone stressing collectively that's working on getting the story out. It's just a lot, and I have more fun making stuff that matters.
Yeah.
Or trying to tell stories. And after I stopped doing the leaks or wanting to do the leaks, Front Page Tech really started to suffer as a news show. I think we peaked in terms of creating a tech news show.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, like, leaking was doing wonders for numbers, but it was killing mental health. And once you wanted to stop leaking stuff, getting out of that game, it wasn't viable to go back to just making a tech news show.
Yeah, I think we squeezed all the juice out of that lemon. And by this stage, there's a lot of people doing tech news shows. Like there are
Better
other
than
tech
us.
news shows that exist.
Yeah.
And even if it's not a tech news show like TechLinked or Pocket Now Daily, I think TechLinked is the only show that was more popular than Front Page Tech, the tech news version of that show.
Yeah.
Other than that, we were like number 2 on the internet, and it still wasn't enough. We weren't enjoying it as much.
Yeah.
We made the same show so many. We're what 1,600 episodes of Front Page Tech almost.
My God.
Like
yeah.
a lot.
Uh-huh.
Basically the same show for 11 years or so, and on top of that, the formula for that show isn't working well anymore. Like the viewers aren't responding well to that formula anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And if you look right before the Tim Cook documentary comes out, we're barely cracking 100K views. We
Yeah.
were down to 80,000 views an episode and maybe 90-something thousand views an episode. I think there was one a couple weeks before that had 60,000. Like the numbers were not going up anymore.
Right.
And Brian and I started having discussions about, okay, something needs to change. We're pretty good at adapting. I think that's the reason we're still around.
True.
Because I don't know if you know this, but we are like second-gen YouTubers. Like if you say the first
That's
ones
fair.
are Niga Higa, Ray William Johnson, Philip DeFranco even.
Yeah, I'd say.
Uh,
There's others, I'm sure.
there are others.
Yeah, lots of others.
If that's the first wave, we are the second wave
Yeah, I
of
mean,
YouTubers that started in
Start-
2012, 2013.
exactly. Yeah, that year, I mean, we have to be.
And a lot of our peers that we kind of came up with are gone.
Yeah.
Or not relevant anymore. Maybe they're still posting, but it's not, we're lucky.
We're very lucky.
And this is one of those times where we kind of have to realize, oh shit, it's not working. If we want to stick around, we got to find out what the next thing for Front Page Tech is. And Brian starts talking about video essays.
Because I love video essays.
Yeah.
Just personally.
And that's really working at the time. And I'm just like, I don't know how that works or what we could tell stories about. I don't know
Right.
what we could do video essays about. And we kind of just, for the time being, decide to do a rebrand. There was a discussion about naming the channel John Prosser.
Yeah, that was a little moment
blip.
in time. Yeah.
That would have been a mistake.
It would have been.
And we decide that the appropriate way to move forward is to rebrand as FPT, sort of homage to Front Page Tech, the show that got us here, but also open the door for us to do other things now.
Yeah.
Not be so limited by like the channel name or the brand name. And so we start discussing like video essay stuff, and we do a couple. We did one about the Apple Watch.
Yeah, we did one about MKBHD.
MKBHD, that was the first one.
That was kind of I was alluding to that being a sort of proof of concept for you, where it was gonna like I was like, let's just try it and see how it does and see what we feel like afterwards. And
It was so much a proof of concept that, I mean, if you want the whole run up to this video happening, in 2023, earlier in the year, Sam comes to my house to record an in-person Genius Bar episode.
yeah,
And while he's at my house, we're like playing Call of Duty or something, and he mentions a video idea with the title MKBHD ruined tech videos, or how MKBHD ruined videos, or something like that. And I was like, that's a fucking genius idea. And Sam is like, that's not a video I can make, but I think you can make it. And so we sat on that video for a lot of the year, and the initial concept for that video leaned more into exactly what the title is saying. Not being mean towards Marquez or anything like that, but it was less of a love letter.
right. At the time, I think we were still, or the concept, you were still leaning kind of negative.
Yeah.
In videos.
And that idea floated around for many months afterwards. We just never made that video, but we had the title, and we're like, we can make this anytime we want. And so we start kicking up discussions to make this video, and I don't have any clear creative direction for the video, and I just give it to Brian. Who's like, can you just make something out of this? And what he delivers back is something way more positive.
Yeah.
And so already I'm getting a little bit of a hint that, okay, I kind of see what you're saying. I think this can work.
Yeah.
I record the video. It feels much better. Even Sam was surprised by the direction that video ended up taking, because that wasn't his vision for it, and that wasn't what he thought I was going to do with it, or what we were going to do with it. Comes out and it does like pretty well. I mean, it was our most viewed video for a while.
Yeah. No, I think it's still
1.3
like
million or
number
something.
2. Yeah.
So we from there we start taking the approach of, okay, let's try the video essay thing. We do one about the end of Apple, which is the EU sort of overstepping in terms of regulating Apple, which I think at this point we have seen that come to fruition a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
We make another video about the health aspects of the Apple Watch and the project, how that started, how Steve Jobs wanted it approached, and the launch of that and whatnot. Did we make another one? Was there a third like video essay?
I'm actually pulling it
from
up
around that
because it's so funny how it's easy to forget.
The end of Apple, Apple Watch.
I think
Was that it?
5. We got 5 total. I got the Apple is better without Steve Jobs, but that's
That was from 2017 or something.
Yeah, that's early, so I think it's just the 4.
That kicks up conversations of sort of a more produced documentary. And I float the idea towards Brian of, I want to do the definitive Tim Cook documentary. Those are my words.
The man needs his flowers.
If someone's going to want the story of Tim Cook or stumble on this video, I want this to be the only documentary about Tim Cook that you need to watch. And even if you've seen others, you feel while you're watching it, this is the best one. And so we start the process of trying to make the definitive Tim Cook documentary. The writing takes forever. Did you rewrite it a couple times?
I did. Yeah, I rewrote. That's the process. It's like a write, rewrite, and just kind of keep the more you iterate, the better it gets.
Yeah.
Usually.
There was did I give you any
I had notes. You gave
like
me notes.
outline? Did we use any of that?
I gotta be real. I don't remember. I don't.
Because
Maybe
what got delivered back, which I don't think you get to experience this feeling, but there's a brief in between period of like knowing you have begun writing and then the time where I get to see it.
I see.
There's a specific feeling of excitement and
Like seeing something come together.
yeah, nervousness because I don't know what direction you're going to take it. And I'm reading the script and I start to get the picture painted where the real telling of this story is the Apple Watch announcement. And I think there was some other stuff in that documentary in the original script, but we got on a phone call, a very manic phone call of excitement and like we know this is good and we're excited to make it. And I think collectively we just decide that the real crux and climax of this is the Apple Watch event, and the whole documentary peaks there. The goal of the documentary was we wanted to continue the emotional ramp the whole time. We want it to just end and you go, whoa, that was what?
Yep.
Like we want it to end at the peak of your emotion. And after the Apple Watch announcement, the original script or like the feel of the script started to dip a little bit because then you have to go back and AirPods and iPhone S or iPhone 10R.
Yeah.
iPhone 10R, like stuff like that. And Brian and I decide that the best way to not leave that out of the story, but continue the emotional ramp, is to speed run the rest of those products. Like make an edited
quick little montage,
in the documentary. So that's where the last like third of that script just becomes that edited montage at the end of the Tim Cook documentary. I edited that night. Like I started to put that together,
excited,
and we start to get a visual of how the documentary is going to be as a whole. And in your original script, after we have decided, we locked the script down, and we're both fucking pumped.
Yeah,
like so excited to put this out. There's a line or two in the script that you use from the Trip Mickle book, After Steve. And after we film it, and I say the lines, and I'm editing, we sort of decide that that line specifically will hit more and mean more if we have the book physically. So we don't do any extra work usually.
No, God, no.
So we ordered that book from Amazon, and I want to do, for that part of the documentary, a practical shot of overhead camera showing the lines in that book. I just think that would hit harder. And that somehow spiraled into, that looks very good. It would be cooler if all of this documentary was shot this way. Because originally it was just
normal
typical,
FPT stuff.
Yeah, typical YouTube B-roll of pictures or articles or whatever. And so if we hadn't had bought that book for that specific thing, the rest of the literally half that documentary would not be the same as it is.
No, not
as it
even
ended
a little.
up being.
Not even a little bit. Yeah.
We put months and months and months and months of work into that documentary. I think by the time it came out and towards the end of my editing, the footage that we were editing was from 2 months prior.
I think it took about 3 months total, I think.
That book is to the point where when we moved into this new office studio space, Brian, he put together a shelf of just inventory stuff or equipment that we have, mics, cameras. We have our original cameras.
Yeah, all the OG cameras, minus one that the old show was filmed on, and then the YouTube play button.
Yeah, we have the
like
cameras from different eras of Front Page Tech, the cameras that we were using at the time for those seasons. And one thing that we still had was that book, and Brian was like, well, we got to put it at the top of the shelf. I don't think we were understanding how significant that book is for our business.
Yeah.
The Tim Doc was the final nail in the coffin of that proof of concept that video essays can work.
Yeah, it really was.
And the quality of that documentary is the buildup of all of our knowledge from making those short films and making Front Page Tech for 11 years.
Right. It's the culmination of everything. It's almost like the end of a chapter.
Yeah, I'm really glad we didn't try anything like that sooner than we should have.
Oh,
because that, I think, to tell that story deserved that level of quality, and that kind of put me on a high too. Reading comments, my favorite comments are the people being like, "I can't believe I just watched this for free."
Yeah, and that's also I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think that's the longest video.
Oh, yeah.
31 minutes.
Yeah, 31 minutes, which was the time we were shooting for, too.
Yeah, it was.
In the initial concepts, I was like, I want to make the definitive Tim Cook documentary that's a half hour, 45 minutes long. That does really well, but more importantly, the reception from you guys, the listeners, the audience, the viewers, that meant everything to us, and I think that you guys are a big reason why the new direction for Front Page Tech is one, working, but that we were also willing to put effort into trying to steer this direction and explore it more because you guys liked it and didn't, reject it.
Yeah.
That night or so, or maybe the night after, we went to Olive Garden for a business meeting, a celebratory, the thing's
was.
out, let's discuss the rest of this.
And we went to Olive Garden, which is hilarious.
I don't know why that's the place. But we make a decision during that meeting that we want to pursue this stuff. We want to make documentaries and try to tell stories, and I think you are here. I think that's
it. Yeah.
I think that's the new direction for Front Page Tech. I think the days of it being a tech news show are numbered, if not done.
Yeah.
I feel like anyone can tell the news or make news videos now, and there are people that are faster at that and better at that than us, and I think they should do it. I think we are lucky enough to where the storytelling aspect of our tech content has trickled down now to other. You see a few more people in tech trying to tell stories and make more meaningful videos.
Yeah. Yeah, we've, for the first time, we're living up to our OG channel about tech news like you've never seen it before.
Oh,
we thought we were some YouTube front runners with no one does anything like this.
Looking back, if you guys are YouTubers or aspiring YouTubers, we thought that we were really good. For many, many years of Front Page Tech, our whole thing was we make a fantastic show, the best tech news show, and the only thing that's keeping us from viewers is the right amount of people seeing it or the algorithm.
Yeah, the man's keeping us down. Yeah.
I'm in a spot now where I understand that it's not the algorithm, it's not the viewers, it is you, and if you make a good video, it will be watched. And currently, that's all we're trying to do. We just want to make good videos and videos that matter. We have made thousands of videos.
So many.
1,600 episodes from Page Tech, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't tell you one of them. There are a few that stick out in my memory as funny moments, but I can't tell you a single one that actually mattered.
No, that's just for us, though. We'll think back to stupid, funny jokes that make us laugh, but for everybody else, what do we? What,
Yeah,
what
like
were
you
we
can't go
making?
back and rewatch them. They don't
God,
matter.
no.
Like, yeah, and I don't know if it's because we're older now or because of the years of experience. We've been doing this for so long. Maybe we got bored with doing the same thing. I'm not sure, but
Uh-huh.
all we want to do is make videos that matter. No longer are we trying to put videos out first or make them fast. We used to, editing Front Page Tech, or rather the whole process from beginning to end used to take 4 or 5 hours.
At most. We could power through. I powered through a lot of edits within an hour.
Yeah.
Listening to music while editing
Yeah,
the
and
show.
we put out 5 episodes a week. For a longer period of time, we did 3 episodes a week, Monday,
Yeah.
Wednesday, Friday, or at least tried to shoot for that.
Mm-hmm.
And what I didn't expect later on in our careers was that we would actually put out less. We put out 1
Yeah.
or 2 a month, maybe 2 a month.
But now they're good.
And it does. For some reason, I thought as we get better, the process would be faster, but it's different.
Total opposite.
It turns out the more you care, the more you will try. And making this stuff has, I put a lot more into editing. I really enjoy editing now when I used to hate it. I mean, you would hate it too if you're editing the same show.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, over and over and over and over and over again. I mean, them. The
Oh,
listeners.
I see. Yeah.
You would hate it too if you were editing the same show for 1,000 episodes, 1,200, 1,340, so many, and they're the same show. You're just saying different things about the same companies, even the same phones, just with a different number at the end.
That's
It's
true.
exhausting and terrible, and I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Making stuff that we care about has made the writing more fun. There's so much more time that goes into the writing.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it gets rewritten. Sometimes, like we were saying before, it gets written, shot, and edited, and still gets thrown out. We still don't
Yeah.
put it out, and sometimes that gets us in trouble with our managers and advertisers because we're supposed to be on a schedule. But that's how much at this stage in our career we care about what we're putting out. I want to put out a video that people are immediately excited to watch because they know it's going to matter a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I want to try to deliver. We have a lot more ideas for, I don't want to say a lot more. We have like 3 more very...
Until we're done forever.
Yeah, we have 3 more like very, very good documentary ideas that we're pursuing.
Yeah.
I want to put like 1 Tim Cook quality documentary out a year, like put a lot into. And if we get good at that, maybe a couple a year. But we have a few ideas that are very good, and one in particular that I don't think has ever been done on YouTube before that I'm very excited about.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm proud of where we are, and I don't think I could have said that for most of this journey. Like,
It might be sad to say, but I think it's actually a positive thing. Like, yeah, we're happy now. We're making good stuff, and it feels good.
Sometimes it just takes 12 years. Is all.
Yeah, like most things.
I briefly mentioned this on Genius Bar, but I think it's more important to talk about here. I think I'm done with social media.
That's true.
Like
yeah.
Twitter specifically, or X, whatever. And this isn't an Elon is running it thing. It's not because I don't like Elon. I don't like Elon.
It's kind of a dick, isn't he?
Yeah, but it's not because... And I feel like anytime I say I don't like Elon, the immediate thing is, oh, John Prosser, liberal shill, exposed. Because somehow it's political if you don't like somebody or if you just don't like their personality.
Yeah, no, he just kind of seems like a bad person.
Elon has done a lot for business and the United States and humanity even, but I still don't like his personality all that much.
Yeah.
Even so, that is not why I don't want to be on Twitter. I think Twitter, or X, is toxic, and I think I am toxic for it.
It's changed a lot, yeah.
I spent a lot of time in my life and in my career giving the wrong people too much attention and arguing about silly things on Twitter. It was too easy to get under my skin.
Yeah,
and I would spend too many minutes and hours of my life being worked up over something that happened on Twitter, that was said on Twitter, or an argument that I was in for no reason. And sometimes it wasn't even the audience, baiting me. I would just see something on Twitter and I had to say something.
You did. You had to step in.
And I don't know why. I'm not like that anymore.
You're feisty.
I don't have the urges.
I
don't have the urges anymore to insert myself into everything always.
Mm-hmm. Now, social media, man, I think maybe it's just because we've been around the block. Like, we're in a weird, and I'm sure a lot of mid-20s, early 30s people can agree to this. We are a very strange generation where we kind of we didn't see the birth of the internet, but we saw it go from, like, for me, like, we both had dial-up.
Yeah,
right?
we watched it become the internet.
Like, we were around for the inception of social media.
Yeah.
We went from flip phones to smartphones. Like we grew up with it.
Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, this shit's kind of fucked up, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, it's a lot.
Should people just have unadulterated access to everybody
Yeah.
all the time?
Here's a question.
Uh-huh.
You can be honest. It's
Okay.
your show to be honest.
Sure.
50% of
Yeah.
this show is yours.
Like it?
Do you feel, if I pull this off, that is, if I actually fucking stay off of Twitter,
Uh-huh.
do you think what we say becomes more valuable for saying it in less places?
Ooh. That's an interesting concept.
Like, do you think as a fan of the show, you're more interested in Recycle Bin because it's just one of the very limited places you can even hear from
Get
us at all?
access? Yeah. Interesting. I think so. I mean, if a content creator or something that I was a fan of was like, hey, if you want to hear from me, you got to go here, I would probably do it. Because if it's not on if it's not everywhere,
Yeah.
yeah,
If
I
it's
think
scarce.
so. I mean, maybe the fans, listeners, and subscribers and everybody will disagree, but oh, dude, oh my god, we're playing like
What?
4. I just realized
Are you all right?
people are gonna send in voicemails about this episode now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are.
We're
Oh, my God. We're like talking to people, and they're going to be able to talk back to us.
I think we're realizing how podcasts work in the podcast.
I think that's good for our mental health, too.
Yeah.
If we have something that we want to make Front Page Tech about, we will make that video.
Exactly.
But that is a very limited outlet still. And if there's something that we want to talk more in depth about or something that wouldn't necessarily make it into a Front Page Tech video,
Exactly.
this is our outlet to do that. So whatever the next phase of Front Page Tech is, I hope that you come with us, and I hope you come with us on the journey of Recycle Bin.
I think they're gonna. I mean, I think this has been a very good inaugural episode. I think you got to get a lot. This was kind of your soapbox moment, I feel like.
Was it?
I felt very in a good way. Like it felt like we held a little town hall here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
it
know,
does.
A little bit of a reassessment, a reintroduction.
4
as it
years
were.
later.
Yeah, but like getting everybody caught up.
I mean, a
on-
lot has happened since the last
lot.
episode of Recycle Bin, and we have not been anywhere with the opportunity to talk about
Yeah.
that from our perspective.
Exactly, and you know you have Genius Bar, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a very you talk about specific stuff on there.
Yeah,
This is for
this is
our
us.
people,
Yeah.
and it feels special.
I mean, is
And-
there anything you need to air out before we continue? And Recycle Bin is 52 episodes in before we have to reevaluate if we quit the show or not?
No, I'm very happy. I mean, I think we're gonna get into a lot of stuff with questions, or once the calls start coming in. I'm excited to hear what you guys think. I mean, if you think of it like this, they haven't heard from us on Recycle Bin like this in years.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't heard from them.
Oh, I hate that. That feels icky.
I know.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
this is
that
us.
makes me sad.
Not only are we putting ourselves back out there, and I'm putting myself back out there, but like we're getting to hear from them again.
Does
And
it feel good to be on a microphone again?
It does, yeah, and much nicer microphones this time
yeah,
around.
yeah.
So that's cool.
We have better equipment this time. It's not just like thrown together with.
Radio Shack stuff. So I think this is another time to plug the number. Guys, leave us your messages for next episode. 404-919-5530. You're going to hear a cute little message. Then you hear a beep, and you start talking.
Hopefully, I want to put as much of you on the show. Actually, I think you, Brian, is
Yeah.
going to be the one vetting the calls and
I will.
like choosing who makes it on. Call, leave us a voice message. Hopefully, your question is good. If you don't make it on the show, don't take it personally.
No, try again.
Yeah, try. We do want to encourage you to try again. There's a good chance that we're purging these calls every episode so we don't get overwhelmed with like a backlog of voicemails.
Yeah.
Maybe we could put them somewhere for a rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that number again is 404-919-5530. We have done all the work we could possibly do to create one episode of original content. We just did that, and now it's up to you to steer the show. That's kind of, I don't know, to be proud of that or afraid that we're giving them that responsibility.
No, I'm excited because, guys, just to be clear, you can ask us anything. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm vetting them. If you ask me about something that like lights my brain up in a funny way and it's not related to tech at all,
Yeah.
we're probably going to make it in.
Is that it?
Yeah, so I think we've been around too long, huh?
Yeah, we have been around too long. Is this how we just end the show this way? Just
I
press a
think so.
button or something?
Final words for the people on the first episode back?
Yeah, don't do drugs before 8 p.m.
That's a pretty good idea. I mean, and if you do drugs, like just make sure that you're being safe.
Yeah, that's the balance to life. No drugs before 8 p.m.
Yeah,
I think the people that get in trouble are the ones that do it before 8 p.m.
that sounds about right. I think my last words are going to be, make sure you have a nice breakfast.
Like a balanced breakfast, get your day
Just,
started right.
No, something good for you. Okay, leave us voicemails.
We'll see you guys next week, or you'll hear us next week, hopefully on Monday.
All right.
See you then. Did you enjoy this episode of Recycle Bin?
Let us know by subscribing on your favorite podcast app.
And by leaving us a review. It helps us know you like it and helps other people find it.
Recycle Bin is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and everywhere else podcasts are available.